Hi there, folks. Step right in. Welcome to Walt Disney's private family apartment. Please watch your step as you enter. Come on in, folks. Don't be shy. Hi there, everyone. I'd like to welcome you again to this VIP tour of Walt Disney's private apartment, one of the most exclusive places in the entire Walt Disney Company. My name is Greg, and we are so honored to have you all here as our special guests in this very private space. Now, folks, this apartment was never intended to be open to the public, and it's only through a walk in Walt's footsteps that this tour is actually available. Now, when Disneyland was being built, Walt was in production on Lady and the Tramp. He'd spend the morning at the studio and then head out to Disneyland in the afternoon. It was a long drive back and forth every day, and Walt envisioned a place inside Disneyland where he could stay to avoid the tiresome commute back and forth during the final days of construction at the park. One of the first things you'll notice is it's pretty small. It's about 500 square feet, and this is probably the largest portion of the apartment. Emile Curie, a very talented set decorator at the studio, decorated sets for several Disney pictures set in the Victorian era. Mary Poppins, Pollyanna, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, for which he won an Academy Award in 1954. Now, when he went to work on this apartment, he was able to match the same Victorian-era styling found on Main Street, USA, decorating the apartment with many treasures from the period with an attention to detail that would become the hallmark of the Disney parks worldwide. And as you look around the room, folks, you'll see the rose pattern theme that Lillian personally loved. You can see this rose pattern in the carpet and also etched in some of the chairs and the teacups over there, giving the room a bit of Lillian's personal touch. Now you'll also notice there aren't any beds. And believe it or not, these two couches fold out into twin beds, so Walt and Lillian would be able to stay overnight here. Lillian slept on this bed right here, and Walt slept right over there on that one. And the way you would know the difference between these two beds is that they each had their mother's portraits hanging directly overhead. Now, Walt always wanted to make sure that Lillian felt comfortable here because, after all, it was her home as well, right? And here in their private apartment, he wanted to be sure that she had some special gifts. And the first one I'd like to share with you is right over there, the Regina Music Box. Now, this piece dates back to the 1890s, and inside are large punctured metal discs that would be loaded into the box and would play music of the period. Playing behind us right now is the theme to one of Walt's favorite attractions. In fact, the last attraction he personally opened in Fantasyland in 1966. It's a Small World. And right over there is the Thomas Edison gramophone. And unlike the large, cumbersome sort of discs of the Regina Music Box, Edison developed smaller wax cylinders that could be rotated out more easily. We actually have about 26 of these original cylinders here in the apartment today. And in the cabinet just above the counter in the kitchenette over there, you can see some of the original china that Lillian collected. And directly below is a grilled cheese sandwich maker. Even though Walt Disney was hugely successful, he was a very simple man. A couple of his favorite treats were a grilled cheese sandwich and cornbread and chili. And we still, to this day, serve chili on Main Street, USA in his honor. Now, in the 1950s and 1960s, Walt was a huge celebrity. And when the public would see him at the park, he was always very gracious and would stop for pictures and autographs, but it was sometimes difficult for him to navigate throughout the park without being noticed. Now, he knew there was a certain time of the day when a large amount of people would line Main Street, USA, and that was for the parades. So, Walt would travel along the parade route in his horseless carriage to greet his public, waving at everyone just before the parade steps off. That way, the guests would have a chance to see Walt Disney in person. Julie Andrews recalls that just before she signed to play the role of Mary Poppins, Walt gave her a tour of Disneyland in his electric car. She remarked that he was simply ecstatic to see all the people enjoying his park. And there's one more thing that I want to bring to your attention before we conclude this part of our tour. And I'm sure several of you have come into the park as guests before and might have seen this from the outside, and that is this lamp. When Walt would come out to Disneyland, this lamp would be lit to let the park employees know that Walt was at the park and that they needed to be on their best regard. Now, since Walt's passing in 1966, we've kept that light on 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So all of our guests and all of our cast members would know that Walt's spirit lives on at his original Magic Kingdom. One day, Walt's grandson Christopher remarked, "Look at this place. This is a dream come true." And Walt turned to him and said, "Wait till the people get here. That's when the magic really happens." In fact, it was opening day, July 17th, 1955, when Walt Disney was standing right here with his hands behind his back, looking out that window. And as he was looking out over his creation, he had a lump in his throat and a tear rolled down his cheek, as this man's inspirations, hopes, and dreams came to life. And that's the inspiration we'd like to leave you with. So as you leave the apartment, I'd like to thank you all so much for coming to see Walt's Home Away from Home, the Disney Family Apartment. Please watch your step as you exit. Again, my name is Greg, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your VIP tour today. Have fun today, guys. Bye-bye.